Hi, we are going to be working on lesson 2 in the Introduction to Turtle Programming in App Lab. If you have not yet completed lesson 1, please go ahead and do that. You will absolutely need that information. For today, we're going to go through lesson 2, creating functions. The first task is to watch a video, so please pause this video now and watch the video on your screen. All right, task 2, it's having us start to make some functions. So do this. Define a function called turnaround, which turns the turtle around. So right now I am facing my refrigerator. If I want to turn completely around, I have to think about what did I do step by step. So if I turned to the left once, that doesn't get me there. But if I turn to the left 2 times, if I turn to the left 2 times, that gets me so that my back is against my refrigerator and I have now turned around. So we're going to create the function turnaround by turning left 2 times. Now they're asking us in the instructions, once you've defined the function, call it to make sure that it works as you expect, and then move the turtle forward as shown below. So in order to call the function, in order to say, I want this turtle to turn around, I need to go into functions, and I'm pulling the single line where it says my function. This is where we're actually calling the function. So I am going to name this turnaround. And you'll notice that I have, you'll notice that I have a capital A and a capital A lowercase t and a lowercase t. And I've kept that consistent all the way through. I have to keep that consistent in order for it to work properly. We also have to make sure that the spelling is correct and the spelling is the same all the way through, or else you will have other issues. So right now I'm going to run this, and I want to see if my program is in fact turning around. It looks like it's going to the left 2 times, and it did in fact turn around. If we look at what's in yellow when we press run, if you look in this workspace, you're going to see that the yellow is when it's going through the actual program. Another thing that I want to show you is at the very bottom of the page, you'll see that I'm down here, slow as a turtle. I could go up here, fast like a rabbit. I'm gonna move it so that it's in the center, so that it goes a little bit faster. If you need yours to go faster when you're working, feel free to put it closer to the rabbit. If you need it to go slower, put it down towards the turtle. This is a much better speed. Oops, we didn't finish the task. So we've got it to turn around. Now we need to make it move forward as it's shown below. So if we look at this, it's turned around and then it has to move forward. So if we go down here, we want to create the function called move twice. And in order to make that function, I'm going to drag in 2 move forwards. So I'm going to have my turtle turn around. Now I'm going to call the function move twice. And now it's going to be turning around. and moving forward twice. After it's moved forward twice, we are good. All right. Now, they want us to have a little bit more practice in task 3. They're asking us to create this plus sign. So for this plus sign, we need to move forward and turn around and move forward. So we're going to actually need to move forward one segment, then we have to turn around, then we're going to need to move forward again, now it's on line 3, so it's highlighted. So now we're back to where we started. We're going to need to do that though 4 times because there are 4 sides to this plus sign. So we're moving forward, turning around, moving forward. Now we have to turn to the left. Oops, I'm sorry. All right, so we have to continue to repeat that 4 times. This is happening 4 times. So we need to move forward. We're going to need to turn around. Move forward and turn left. Move forward, turn around, move forward, turn left, move forward, turn around, move forward, turn left. You can watch the highlight in yellow over here in the workspace. I'm going to speed it up a little. All right, and I do believe it's facing the proper direction. Yep, looks like it is. So we're good here with this plus sign. I do want to show you something though. You might have noticed that we kept saying move forward, turn around, move forward, turn left. And that was what we kept saying every time. That's a repeated pattern. We could put that pattern in a function block. So it was move forward, turn around, move forward, turn left. And I would possibly refer to each of those as legs, like each leg of the plus sign. I'm going to get rid of all this. We have to get rid of each of the, I guess I could have done this. That might have been painful for some of you to watch, sorry. So I have this leg. Now what I want to do is I want to call four legs of the plus sign. It's just a much more condensed way to write the code. And what would even be more condensed than that is to create a function, name it plus sign, inside of that function. Oops, sorry. I'm going to put these four legs in case you needed to make multiple plus signs. And then we're going to call the function plus sign. So now anytime that you needed to make a plus sign, you have it created for you. All right. So now we're on to task 4. I'm going to cover up my workspace a little so I can read most of these directions. So it says, as you know, in order to turn right, we have to call turn left 3 times. We've started you out with a stub that defines a function called right. So what they gave me so far is this function that is called right. Start by adding code inside the function definition that will turn the turtle to the right by turning left 3 times when called. Then use this function in some code to draw a rectangle as shown below. So we want to show this rectangle. It is 2 move forwards high and 1 move forward wide. So we're going to, we could do a couple of things here. We could do 2 move forwards. We can make a function that is for 2 move forwards, or we could just call the move forward, or we can say long side. We can make a function called long side. That might be helpful. So I'm going to bring this up and move this. All right. So I'm going to make a function called long side. And that is going to be 2 move forwards. And after each of those move forwards, because of the orientation of this, after each of those move forwards, I am going to need to turn to the right. In order to turn to the right, I need to use the function of right. And I'm also going to make a short side. The short side is going to be 1 move forward. And again, I'm going to need to use the function of right. So I have we're just going to create another function, which is going to be called rectangle. That rectangle is going to consist of long side, short side, long side, short side. So I need to write this in here. Long side, short side. Just so you know, I am using the tab button because for me that's easier than using the mouse to find, to place your cursor and all of that. So now I've created this function for rectangle, and now what I'm going to do is call the function rectangle. Oh, we have it all the way down to turtle speed. So now it's making the short side. And I just want to draw your attention down here. So I'm going to actually restart this. When we take a look, we see the yellow is going through wherever it is in the program. So right now it's making the short side. Now it's moved to the long side. So it's calling the long side. Now it's making the short side. So it's calling the short side. So that's how we do a rectangle. All right. Now they're showing us that this is our code from the previous level. And they're telling you that you can write functions to make your own functions. What they had us do here is to make this say actually draw rectangle. I just have rectangle, so let's change it to draw rectangle. And that's a capital R. All right. And we made this more efficient code in task 4, not in task 5. Task 5 is where we could have made it, but we already made it in task 4. Right now my speed's all the way up to a rabbit, so I'm just going to move it down so that we can just run this, make sure everything is good. And then we can move on. All right. All right. So for number 6, what we're going to be looking at is drawing a diamond. So again, we have many, many parts of this diamond, but it's a lot of repetitive parts that are going to be coming together to make one big diamond. If you look at the diamond that's over here on the right-hand side of your screen, you will see that, you will see that it starts down here. So the first task that we're going to have to do is we go from this lower left-hand corner up, left, over, right, up, left, over, right, up, left, over, and then you turning to the right, you are going to be moving forward. This pattern, if I were able to take the red ink and put it on top of the other, I'm sorry, I'm not able to move that menu off of the diamond, but if I were to take this red pattern and move it and put it on top of this section and this next section and this last section, it would be identical, Therefore, the code here is identical. We just have to make it so it happens all the way around. All right, so let's read it from the top. So it says, over the next 3 levels, we are going to write a program that draws the figure shown at the right, which looks like a jagged diamond shape. If you look at this image, you might recognize elements that repeat. There's a 4-sided figure, and each side is made up of some zigzag steps. We're going to break the programming down into usable parts, and then use those parts as building blocks to make this more complex drawing. So now what they want us to do is to define a function that draws just one of the zigzag steps. So I'm going to get rid of my stuff here, just so you get an idea of what your final code is going to look like. You're going to be ultimately drawing a diamond. You're going to be drawing a diamond by making 4 sides. You're going to be building each of the sides. And each of the sides are going to be made from previous pieces. So I am going to get rid of my code. Sorry, I know it's painful for some people. I'm going to get rid of my code, and we're going to start fresh. So they want us to define a function named drawStep. So in the functions, we're going to create a function that is called drawStep. And it's going to make the turtle move forward and left. So it's going to go forward and then turn to the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move forward and I'm going to turn to the left. This is a limit to a rabbit. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't call my function. I have to call it. All right, so far I have it going up and then turning to the left. Now they're saying that at the end, the turtle should be facing the same direction it started. So what we need to do is we're gonna go up, look left. Now we're going to move forward one more time. And then we have to turn to the right. In order to turn to the right, I need to create a function called right. And if you remember, turning right is the same as turning left 3 times. So I've created right, and now I'm going to have to call the function of right. All right, so now I have this very first step. It's going forward, turning left, going forward. Now it's turning right. That happens 1, 2, 3 different times. Keep that in mind. All right, in task 7, now we're going to move this a bit further. It says we're going to continue building up towards a diamond by defining a function that draws one side of the diamond. So if we take a look at this diamond shape, we're going to see that it is 1, 2, 3 of these blue step patterns. So to draw a side, we're going to bring in a function. What we want to do now is draw a side. And drawing a side is 1, 2, 3, draw steps. Now if I have to call my function. So draw side. Now I'm saying I want to draw the side. I've just defined it, now I want to draw it. All right, so now I have that side drawn. And if we look back at our diamond over here on the right, we see that there is 1, 2, 3 blue. But now I do have this orange, and we are just moving forward. So after I draw that side, now I have to move forward. And I'm going to move forward, and then I'm going to have to turn to the right. So now, let's see how it looks. So now I'm doing the first step. Now we're in the second step. In the third step. And now it's doing this orange piece, going forward and turning so that we're facing in the correct direction. All right. So right here, you're going to see that I have all of this here. It looks the same. All right. Now in task 8, what we're being asked to do is to draw the actual diamond. So in order for us to draw the diamond, we're going to need to create a function called draw diamond. And drawing the diamond is going to consist of 4 sides. All right, and then I have to remember to call the function. And remember that you can watch the yellow go through. That's highlighting whatever step it might be on. You can also change the speed that it's running at down at the very bottom of your screen. But it looks like we've got our diamond there. Nice job. All right. Now we're being asked to draw a snowflake. So this snowflake that we're being asked to draw is going to consist of quite a few pieces. If you take a look, it's going to consist of coding going forward twice, coding a turnaround. We're going to have to code the spike. Then we're going to have to code the arm. And from there, we're going to draw the snowflake. So let's get rid of what we have here. So sad, but let's do it. So we're going to rebuild it. All right. So what we're going to do first is we're going to create a function turnaround, because I know we're going to have to turn around. Turning around consists of going left 2 times. So we're starting right here, and we're going to be moving forward twice. I could do 2 move forwards, but I'm going to create a function, and my function is going to be called move twice. Very creative, right? So I'm moving forward, moving forward. I've now moved twice. I'm going to call my first function, which is going to be to move twice. And I see that that gets me to here. This is the bottom of the arm. The top of the arm is what we're going to refer to as a spike. So the top of this arm, in order for me to make that, I need to, when I get to this point, I need to turn left, move forward. So let me write this in here. Turn left, move forward. Then I need to turn around. And then I need to move forward. So now I've gotten, let me just slow this down a little so you can see it a little bit better. So now I'm sorry, I didn't need to move forwards. I just needed one move forward. So I'm moving forward twice, moving forward once, turning around, and then, oh, that's where I needed that other move forward. After the turnaround, I had to move forward. I'm sorry. All right, so there I've got one side of the spike. There are 3 of those spikes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name a function spike. And I'm going to put all of this right in there. All right, so now I've created that, which is called spike. So that's giving me one side of that. Now in order to create the entire arm, I'm going to make another function. In order to create the entire arm, I'm going to need to move forward twice. I'm going to need to make a spike. Not 1, not 2, but 3 spikes. All right, so now let's see what happens when we make the arm. I have a feeling we forgot something. Let's see if we can figure it out together. All right. So now we've got this. Oops, I'm sorry. We've got this part of the arm done. We have one arm that is done, and that's great. But our turtle is still in the center of that arm. So what we have to do now is we're going to have to turn to the left. After making those spikes, now we're going to have to turn to the left, and we're going to have to move twice. So we had to move twice to get down, and we have to move twice to get back after making all of the spikes. All right. Now that the turtle is back to the center, it should also turn so that it can start to make the other sections of the snowflake. We're going to need to have it turn left at the end of the arm so that it's in position to make the next part of the snowflake. All right, so now we've got the arm figured out. We need 4 of those to make the snowflake. So we need not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 arms. Now I need to make sure that I call for drawing of the snowflake. So now it's making the first spike, second spike, third spike, and now we're done with our first arm. We've turned left. Now it's in the middle of working on the second arm, third arm, fourth arm. All right, nice job. All right, now we're on number 10. Number 10 is going to be a little bit tricky, but it's okay. We're going to be able to get through this. So I have some functions here. I have created the right, I've created 3, and I've created 2. I've then made a long side, and we're going to be calling all of these to make this grid. You remember making the grid previously, I'm sure. Now we're going to try to make it a bit more condensed. So in lesson 1, I had suggested that you make the grid by turning right so that you're facing the right direction, as in the direction right, not the correct. And then we went 2 spaces. And our first step was to then turn left and make this long side. Then we turned left, went 2 spaces, turned left, went 2 spaces, and then we made this long side. Turn left, went 2 spaces, turn left, went 3 spaces, turn left, went 3 spaces, and then we of course had to turn around to make sure that we were facing the correct direction. So we're going to follow that same pattern. We're just going to use these functions to make it a little bit easier. So the first function that I'm going to need to create is right. And right again is created by 3 lefts. All right. And I'm going to create a function that is to move forward for 2 spaces. And I'm also going to create a function that is to move forward for 3 spaces. And now let's go over here and pull these. All right, so I have right, I have 2, I have 3. My first step is going to be to call for the right function, as in like the direction right, not the incorrect. And then I'm going to want to move forward 2 spaces. So let's make sure that we're good. Okay, so we're going in the correct direction. Now what I want to do is I want to make this long box. I know that I'm going to need to make 2 of these because I make one here and I make one horizontally. So I'm going to create a function that is going to be called long box. And let's start building that code. So right now, from this point, I'm going to need to turn left. Then I'm going to need to move forward 3 spaces. So at this point, I'm going to be here at this corner, and I'm going to need to move forward 1, 2, 3 spaces. Now I'm going to need to turn left again. After I turn left, I'm going to need to move forward 1 space because I'm up here. Now I'm going to need to turn left again so that I'm at this corner, and then after I turn left, I'll be facing down. Then I'm going to need to move forward 3 spaces, so I'm going to call that function of 3. I am going to need to turn to the left at the end. So let's see what happens. Oops, I didn't call it. I'm sorry. I have to call the long box. Okay, so now I have that long box drawn. After that long box is drawn, I'm going to need to move forward 2 spaces. So I'm just going to use my function of 2. I then will need to turn left because at this point I'm going to be there. So now I need to move up 2 more spaces. Now I'm going to need to make another long box. All right, so we're in business. The cursor is facing in the correct direction. I'm going to need to move forward 2 spaces. I will need to turn left. Then I will need to move forward 3 spaces. See where we are. 2 long boxes. Now I'm all the way over here. Now I'm going to have to turn left again. And I'm going to need to move forward 3 spaces. Problem right now is that I'm facing the wrong direction. So I'm going to need to turn left. Let me just increase my workspace. I'm going to need to turn left 2 times, which is turning around. I did not actually create that function, so I can just turn left twice and that's fine. There we go. Now this grid looks like this grid. All right, and our multiple choice in number 11, in task 11, is asking us to look at this shape. Oops, trying not to look at that answer. It's asking us to look at this shape, and it's asking which function would most likely not be used to create this shape. So drawing a long line. Well, drawing a long line, that would make sense. There's quite a few long lines in this. So I see drawing a long line is in there. What about drawing a short line? Well, I see quite a few short lines. The other option was drawing the letter S. Well, I see the letter S a couple times. What I don't seem to see is a star. That's the one that I don't seem to see. A star would look a little something like this, or it might even look like that, like an asterisk, but I don't see that over there. Therefore, drawing a star is the one thing that is not in there. So we're going to choose drawing a star and submit. All right, nice job.